Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have Bishop Robin Dease with us. She's the Bishop of the North and South Georgia United Methodist Church Conferences in the Southeast jurisdiction. Bishop, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm honored to be here.
Well, we're going to just dive right in and we're going to look at hope. My first question for you was, can you share just a moment from the past year when you've experienced the hope of Christ in a powerful or unexpected way?
That's a that's a good question. I don't let's think. You know, I think being here in the North and South Georgia conferences, I'm getting to see signs of hope daily and weekly. You know, when people slowly open up and share their burdens and rediscover a sense of community and belonging in the United Methodist Church. I mean, it wasn't instant, but I think that's the beauty of hope. It sort of works quietly and often beneath the surface. A good example during annual conference this year, this Hispanic couple, it was a gay couple, they approached me after the ordination service with tears in their eyes, and they said, "We feel like we finally come alive again." And I mean, it was broken English, so I had to listen very intently to understand what they were saying. But in essence, they were saying, you know, Bishop, we're gonna get married and we want to invite you. And my question to them was, well, first of all, before I say yes, can you cook good food? And so if you can, I'll be there if the date works out. But they wanted to take a picture with me. This was a Hispanic gay male couple. And in that moment, I just realized that hope isn't just about expecting things to get better. It's really about believing that God is always working, even when we can't see it. And that transformation reminded me of why I do this work, to witness those moments of grace when someone just steps into the light and says, you know, we're excited. We love being a part of this church. We love each other. We love you, Bishop. And that for me is hope. That excited me so much.
That is wonderful. Well, the Advent theme of hope often invites us to hold onto light, even in seasons of uncertainty.
Yes.
Where have you seen glimpses of Christ's hope breaking through the fractures in our world, church, or even personal life this year?
Ooh, um, well, you know, there's signs of hope that I might get a little emotional, but this year I got to visit the West Bank.
Mm.
Um, and my heart was broken as I got to hear and see how the occupation continues to keep Palestinians in constant turmoil and constant pain and uncertainty. And even despite the immense challenges in the West Bank, there are still glimpses of hope that speak to resilience, to advocacy, and the human spirit's refusal to give up. I
Mm.
got to meet some of those grassroots advocates. I mean, families of Palestinian Americans who were killed in the West Bank, who are demanding justice and accountability. They're fighting to retain their land, their homes. I mean, and what gives me even more hope is now I'm seeing and hearing Israeli voices who are joining in this advocacy work, and they're calling this what it is, genocide in Gaza. I mean, even there are military who are refusing to go back into Gaza because they know what Israel is doing is wrong. And see, that kind of civic engagement is a powerful act of hope. The international attention that's coming, the involvement of other nations calling for accountability, signals that the world is watching and they're calling this wrong. And so those are signs of hope. Even in the midst of the grief, as we're watching starvation in Gaza and whatnot, there are now people who are standing up, who are saying, no, we cannot continue to let this go on. For me, that's hope. And that's hope in action, that we know that we can change this. And it may not always look like peace treaties or political breakthroughs, but it often looks like courage, community, and this quiet insistence that justice matters.
Amen. So, how do you personally stay grounded in hope as a spiritual leader, especially when you're walking alongside communities facing grief, division, or fatigue?
Um, I surround my people who have it. I'm surrounded by people who have a little more hope than I do. I try to surround myself with people who can speak into my life and into the work that I do in ways that continue to inspire me, to fuel me. You know, uh, Old Testament theologian Renita Weems said something, and she's one of my idols. She said, "When you don't have hope, you need to borrow it from others."
Mm.
And that's what I tend to do, especially when there are times when I feel like I don't have an answer or I don't have the words to share or to say. I try to seek out others, dear friends, colleagues, pastors in ministry from home in South Carolina, who I can reach out to and have conversations with, be vulnerable with, shed tears with. And that's how I borrow it from others who may have it when I don't.
Amen. Well, my final question is, as we prepare for the coming of Christ during Advent, what message of hope do would you want to offer to individuals and churches who may feel discouraged or weary in this season?
Ooh, there's a whole lot of discouragement
Yeah,
in
amen to
this
that.
season. There's a whole lot of worry in this season. That seems to be our conversation day in and day out. But I believe that Advent was made for moments like this. It really isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about daring to believe that in the midst of darkness, a light is coming. And it's not just any light, Natalie, it's the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
In Advent, it's sort of sneaks in on us in so many ways because we're inundated with the marketing of Christmas and whatnot. So Advent whispers to the discouraged souls, and it says, "Hold on." It reminds us that God draws near not to the perfect, but to those who are waiting and to those who are wounded. So for me, hope isn't passive, it's fierce. And Advent teaches us to hope actively by lighting candles, by lifting prayers, and most of all, making space for Jesus Christ to arrive once again in our hearts.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Bishop. And thank you all for watching us and joining today for the conversation about hope in this midst of the season of Advent.
Yes.
Join us next week. And Bishop, thank you again for joining us.
Have a beautiful Advent. God bless.